Everyone wanted Jake Paul to fight a real boxer. He finally did it, and it ended exactly how everyone expected, but not for the reason people think. This wasn't about Jake Paul being exposed by a real boxer or some overdue reality check. Everyone and their mama knew that this fight would end in the way it ended. What was surprising was how lifeless the whole thing felt once it actually happened. All that noise, all of that buildup, and when it was all said and done, it didn't move the world in the way it was promised. There was just nothing there. And that emptiness matters because it didn't just reflect on Jake Paul. You see, Anthony Joshua was widely expected to come in here and dominate, and instead it raised uncomfortable questions about where he actually is right now. And that's the part worth sitting with. When a fight like this leaves us with less clarity about where Anthony Joshua is supposed to be, something's gone wrong. And when the big fight does that, something deeper is off. Now, this is where it gets uncomfortable. Anthony Joshua didn't look like a former heavyweight champion. I mean, he knocked out Jake Paul in round 6, but watching Anthony Joshua in recent years, specifically since Joseph Parker, watching him since then, we've been seeing a steady decline in the output of AJ. This lower output really does concern us as fans of Anthony Joshua, as many people are. But Anthony Joshua really showed, like, this fight was like the epitome of what Anthony Joshua has been in the process of becoming. He's going from trainer to trainer to trainer, trying to find a new way to reinvent himself when the reinvention isn't up here. It isn't in who he's training. The reinvention is in the fact that he's 36, 37 years old. It took him 6 rounds to knock out Jake Paul. The output wasn't there. The entire first round might as well have been a 10-10. I mean, the lower output, you expect so much more from an Olympic level boxer as opposed to him fighting someone who's been boxing for 6 years. Anthony Joshua's 36. He won a gold medal at 18 years old. And he took 6 rounds to knock out a Disney Channel YouTuber? And I'm being like unnecessarily harsh to Jake Paul here, but this is to kind of paint what Anthony Joshua is. He's become less effective over time. He's not as good as he once was, and that's a shame because go back and watch that fight with Klitschko. That Anthony Joshua is a monster and someone who gets Jake Paul out of there in a round. It was absolutely just a horrendous show. And granted, Jake Paul skirted around the ring. He ducked in on takedowns like he was fighting an MMA fight. But Anthony Joshua was literally following him around the ring, not cutting off the ring. And when he had him in the corner, he would not go until that 5th and 6th round. See, when he put his foot on the gas, Jake Paul wanted nothing to do with it. And Anthony Joshua needs to have the confidence to know that, oh yeah, like he's not going to want anything to do with me. He's not a real heavyweight boxer. He's a cruiserweight that needs to cut 10 pounds. Anthony Joshua should be absolutely ashamed of this performance against Jake Paul. Like, there is no excuse for what he showed. And he even said it in his post fight, like, I need to do better. I need to do, bro, you've been needing to do better since Andy Ruiz knocked you out. Coming off of his loss to Daniel Dubois. You know, and I get the 15 months. He's been off for 15 months. Yeah, sure. Whatever. Whatever makes you sleep better at night. But Anthony Joshua's performance was absolutely terrible until the finish. If this kind of breakdown is your thing, that's what this channel does. So if you want more of this, subscribe. You see, everybody wants to see Jake Paul get just martyred, basically. Like, they want to see the end of Jake Paul. And this was finally the fight that was going to do it. This was the fight that was finally like, yes, finally, he's fighting somebody good, not a Tommy Fury, not a Michael Perry, not a Nate Diaz, not a Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. He's fighting an active boxer, former world champion. And he let him go 6 rounds. That's indefensible. Oh, it's been off for 15 months. You're a gold medalist boxer. You had 3 world titles. You fought the best of the best. You fought Usyk. You fought Joseph Parker. You fought Klitschko. And now you want to fight Tyson Fury? Tyson Fury's going to put a whooping on. If you can't handle the volume of Jake Paul, who's throwing 4 punches around, you're not going to handle Tyson Fury. The finish was beautiful, and it's exactly what he needed to do from the first round. You see, going to the body, this is revolutionary, guys. I don't know if you know this or not. This is revolutionary. Going to the body lowers the hands, which opens up the right hand that Anthony Joshua loves so much. Why did it take him 6 rounds at 36 years old, 20 years into a boxing career, to figure that out? That is indefensible. Horrible from Anthony Joshua. But if we're being completely fair, what Jake Paul chose to do inside the ring tells you everything to know about why Joshua fought the way he is. Anthony Joshua literally had to deal with somebody running around the ring, literally. It's exactly what we just gave Devin Haney trouble for in his last fight before he beat Brian Norman Jr. We give Devin Haney that kind of a problem all the time. Jake Paul did the same thing, looking for a big overhand right. And he landed him on Joshua. But he's falling all over the ring. His feet are crossing. He doesn't look good in this fight because he's not a good boxer. Let me rephrase it. He's an okay boxer. He's not an Anthony Joshua World Championship, Heavyweight Championship level boxer. He ran the entire time. He wanted to clinch. And it was very clear that the size really did get to Jake Paul. Like, Joshua's inches taller than him. He's got like a 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 inch reach advantage. Size advantage. And when Joshua landed that first punch on his guard, it was very clear that Jake Paul was like, this is not for me, chat. It really was just one of those performances that you're like, I can't believe what he's doing here. But then again, like, how do you deal with someone's jab when they know a huge right hand's coming, you know? All Jake Paul knows to do when he jabs is to dip on the inside. He doesn't know to dip to the outside to avoid that right hand, and he can line up his own right hand. He has a jab, a cross, and a good rear uppercut. But that's it. The size was absolutely a major factor for Jake Paul. He wanted nothing to do with the power of Joshua once he got his first little taste of it. It's like, oh man, that is better, and I'm going to not make it. And from the very first time that first punch landed on his guard in like round 2, the mode changed from, oh, I need to win this fight, to, oh, I should survive this fight and get myself a moral victory. And he still has one because Joshua fought like an imbecile. Like, you look at the Anthony Joshua Klitschko fight. You give Jake Paul a baseball bat and a head start, and it's nowhere close. Like, Joshua gets him out of there. You can give him a taser and 2 free shots, and he won't get out of there. And going back to that Anthony Joshua knockdown, where he started to knock him down over and over in round 6, going back to that final one, when Joshua finally did discover, oh, I'm going to punch to the body, then come up top, because it lowers his hands. Day 1 boxing stuff, right? Jake Paul was like, I'm done, I quit. And granted, he had a broken jaw. We'll give him credit there. But he was also being knocked down multiple times before that. I mean, there was no universe in which Jake Paul should have been in the ring with Anthony Joshua if it weren't for the amount of marketing he was able to do on himself for the past 6 years. And that's really the crux of it. That's how, like, Jake Paul's literally talked his way into getting his jaw broke by Anthony Joshua. He marketed his way into getting his jaw broke by the former heavyweight champion, Anthony Joshua. Now, respect in boxing isn't about just showing up, which everybody seems to want to give Jake Paul credit for. Jake Paul fundamentally misunderstood how respect works in this sport. It doesn't work by you running. Look at Devin Haney. It doesn't work by you running away from your opponent. No, you face it head on. He didn't fight bravely. The only thing he did that was brave was step into the ring. But if you put $90 million in front of me, I'm going to get in there with Anthony Joshua, Deontay Wilder, and Tyson Fury at the same time. I'm going to get in there with all of them for $90 million. Put Francis Ngannou in there, Mike Tyson from back in the day. I will literally fight anyone. I'll fight my wife and my mom for $90 million. That's a lot of money. So yes, of course Jake Paul was going to go fight Anthony Joshua. You put $90 million in front of him, he'd fight anybody. There's no respect in that. He didn't fight hard. He went in there and got beat up. The takedowns, the running, all horrible looks. He literally was like 2 for 13 on takedown attempts in a boxing match. You see, it ticks me off that everybody's like, oh, we're going to give Jake Paul credit for fighting. He ate some good shots. He did a good job getting beat up. But he doesn't deserve respect because there's $90 million in the table. It makes no sense whatsoever. And now he wants to go to cruiserweight. Cruiserweight. Jai Opetaia and Gilberto Ramirez is there. Good luck, Jake Paul. You want to be a world champion? Good luck. Now, I'm sure they can find someone to, get him a world title, especially when TKO's coming, and with the Saudis running out of money, like, TKO's going to be the only game in town and the only belts that matter. I'm sure they can find him a world championship to win. But at the end of the day, saying Jake Paul deserves respect, he deserves respect for being a great marketer and talking himself into this fight to get his jaw broken. Round 6 knockout. He lasted a long time because he ran, he clinched, and he fell to the ground. I'm not even talking about when he got knocked down because that's respectable. But there was a point in time to where he could, he couldn't run anymore. He was tired. He was getting hit to the body. He was getting hit to the head. And it's tiring running away. He's running the whole outskirt of the ring, and Joshua's kind of like following him, not really running the whole thing. Joshua's in much better shape, has been doing this for much, much longer. If you think he deserves respect, you are out of your mind. Now, if you want these directly to your inbox and get some of the written stuff that normally doesn't get on YouTube, that's on my Substack in the description. If you want to talk fights with people who actually care about this stuff, Discord. And always, subscribe if you're not yet. This is how you get the next one.